These cards make me so angry! Guys, welcome to the video. I don't even care. Those are not the cards. But these are my top 5 worst cards. Let's go.
Hey, welcome to the video, guys. Obviously, the introductions don't actually really reflect how I feel. So what I'm going to be doing today is showing 5 of the worst cards, in my opinion. Obviously there are worse cards, but for me, these are 5 questionable cards that I probably won't play anytime soon, because why would I? So card number 1, we're going to start with the orders, because screw the order cards. Number 1 is Stare Down. Put this up, Stare Down. I'm going to put a little image here as well. So Stare Down is where you choose one unit you control. The chosen unit may not be attacked by the unit directly across from it. So what this means is, if I have a unit here and my opponent has a unit directly in front, in the same lane, I choose these 2 targets, and those 2 targets will no longer be able to battle each other now in battle if they're like head to head. So if they're both leading against each other, then they won't be able to battle. And the reason why I don't like it is it's great to stop your opponent from attacking your unit, but it also means you can't attack your opponent. So you kind of have to work your way around how you really want to like beat the unit that you've now like frozen against yours. So it's good, it's good situationally, but long term it could screw up your strategy itself, like, you know, your maneuverability. That could mess up because you would have to change your formation to then allow the unit to be in battle against the other chosen unit. So yeah, it's a lot of work to play this, so it's not one of my favorites. So that's number 1. Put this to the side. Number 2, Last One Standing. Now this card's gonna get a bit of a rework because I don't really like the card and its effects so far. So it's a 10 cost, obviously very strong. The effect is choose one unit you control and one unit your opponent controls, reduce both units' health to 1, then have them conduct battle against each other. So what this does is essentially get rid of 2 units that you want. I mean, it's good. Again, what you'll see in these cards is they are very situational. They are specific to events that may or may not happen. Whereas other cards that I prefer are more stable types that you can use throughout a lot of different scenarios. But Last One Standing, it's a 10 cost to get rid of essentially whatever unit you want on your opponent's field, and that could be great. But you're spending 10 to get rid of a unit, but you also have to sacrifice your own unit, and they must battle each other, meaning you could be taking a lot of excess damage as a result of it. So the cost to benefit ratio is just, there are so many unpredictable consequences of this card that for 10 cost, yeah, it's great to put into your trade center, but it's also like, do you really want to do that? Because this could just be a dead card in your deck. Yeah, it can do something, but it also takes out one whole turn of your play. So that's why this is number 2, because I don't really like it. It's not fantastic. Okay, number 3. This may be a bit of a surprise to some people. But Grand Prosperity. This card. Yeah, this one. Grand Prosperity, where you gain 2 resources the turn you play it. So you play the card, and then you gain 2 resources. For me, it's a 0 cost, which, you know, is beneficial if you want the extra resources, because you pay nothing to gain 2. But for me, in my head, this takes up space in the deck, and there are other ways to get resources, like using the trade center. And because this is a 0 cost card, imagine you're in a scenario where this is one of the only cards in your hands, and you need extra resources. Like, if you had 3 remaining that you needed, and you played this, you'd get 2, which is fair enough. But if you had a card, any card, 3 resources, you could just put it into the trade center a lot easier. Whereas this, if you play it into the trade center, you get absolutely nothing. This card forces you to play it and to have it in a deck. If you don't open up with this card, where you can kind of build up your forces early game, during the late game, this could be a very detrimental addition to the deck that you have, depending what you play. But you know, for me, as a cost choice, there are better ways to get resources. So yeah, Grand Prosperity, not it. Number 4. I'm just choosing controversial cards, guys. A lot of these cards people actually quite enjoy playing, but I want to be quirky and choose the cards that I don't want to play. So yeah, the next one is actually a champion. I don't know if you guys know what champion it might be. It's not Akari, by the way. I'm using the Akari mat instead of the Shen, because like Akari, I'm very angry with these cards. I wish these cards never existed. Just kidding. I do care about them. It's just that I don't really like playing with them myself. Okay, Jinso the Swift. Jinso, woo! Yeah, Jinso the Swift. So her effect is, when played, search for an item in your deck and place it in your hand. And to level Jinso up, you equip 3 items to this card. So, number 1, this is a good card, but not right now. The card isn't good right now because its effect allows you to search for any item, right? An item from the deck and put it into your hand. Let me search for an item. This is one item. And this is the second item. So, when you play Jinso, you have one of these 2 options, sword or a shield, and both add 1 to their respective strength and health counterparts. It's good because you can, you know, buff up to a 4 or an 8, your choice, which is really strong. Because, you know, you have something fairly tanky or something with higher than average health attack. But the requirement of leveling up Jinso is equip 3 of these cards. Obviously it's 3 throughout the game, but still you would have to build your deck around having enough items where it's plausible to play Jinso. Whereas you could play Akari, where his effect is just destroy 3 units in battle. So to take this to level her up is a lot more effort than other champions. And if you want to get strong in the early game, which is what you want to do as often as possible, you know, take the advantage early and then maintain the advantage. But if you were to play Jinso, you would have to build up each turn and spend resources to actually level her up. I don't know. The level up champion might be worth it, but it's taking the time to actually go through the process to build a system to focus entirely on this level up effect. And to me, it's not cost effective. Like, sure, you could have a really strong battle champion, but in reality, is that the best thing to do with your money and your time? Whereas you could be distributing more units onto the field and actually doing damage, whereas you could just be isolated here and just go boom, 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 boom. So yeah, the speed of Jinso the Swift in a deck, ironically, isn't actually that great, so that's why I don't really like playing with Jinso. I mean, she's a good addition. If you play her as a single unit with nothing really else, you know, just to have some variety in a deck, it's fair enough, because you can always search for a unit, and then you can play this card onto a different unit. You know, it can help other troops as well, but it's just, like I said, cost effectiveness is all I look into, and this is, so yeah. And number 5. Can you guys guess what number 5 will be? Number 5 is a very stinky card. I think many of you may know. Drum roll, please. Number 5 is the Wall. This smelly thing. The Wall. I don't like the Wall. I mean, I like the Wall, but I don't like the Wall. If you guys know what I mean. Like, I like the design, I like the concept, I like what it does, but I don't like it because it's 3 durability, fair enough, but there's also 3 cost. And if I were to, you know, play this, sure, it gives me protection, it gives my units protection, but there's no threat to my opponent. It's one-sided on a scale to provide protection, whereas if I were to play a 3 cost unit that had 3 health and 1 attack, that would be a bigger threat to my opponent. And in the current state of the game, to have no threat being a wall is just there. Like, sure, it can like move your opponent's units to different lanes, but the threat of the wall isn't a threat, it's just an obstacle that they just have to get rid of, and they can get rid of quite easily because this does no retaliation. So to have this is just a bit like, fair enough. In the future there's going to be better structures, you know, there might be an even better wall, it might be a great wall, to be honest, hint hint, real life wonders of the world. But to play a wall right now, it just kind of sucks. Because you're paying 3 for nothing, essentially. You're paying 3 for, like, 3 shield that doesn't do much. Like, imagine you run 3 walls. Like, if I saw someone run 3 walls, I would laugh. I don't know, maybe someone should run 3 walls. I've never seen that done. But if you run 3 walls, it's just like, okay, you're trying to protect your units, but you're not going to do anything to me. I mean, in a way, it does, like, you know, like I said, it does force people to play in a certain way, and it does kind of edge them to a position that you want. And, you know, to play it in a lane that you kind of need protection is like, okay, but again, for me, I like having a threat on the field. Even if it's doing nothing, even if it's a keen recruit just standing still, doing nothing, at least it will do 1 damage back. But the wall does nothing! It does nothing! So screw the wall. The wall is the best worst card. So get rid of the wall. Boycott the wall. Ah! So yeah, guys. That's number 5 there. That's the 5. Let's do a recap, shall we? From best worst to worst worst. Okay, let's order these cards because I've done this silly. Okay. All right. Number 1, Stare down. Number 2, Last One Standing. Number 3, Grand Prosperity. Number 4, Jinso the Swift. And number 5, The Wall. Yeah guys, that's it. Hope you hated this video. Remember to agree with my opinion, because these are the worst cards. No one's going to change my mind. If you want to change my mind, comment down below in the comment section. Anyway, if you enjoyed the video, like, comment and subscribe guys, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.